This was Goretti 15 years back, and this is Goretti today. When you take a close look at these two photos, you realize there is a big difference. That difference is the result of the transformation of her life for the last 15 years. Goretti here tells us her story.
My name is Kemigisa Goretti. I lost both my parents when I was still too young to understand. When I grew older, the loss was too painful to bear. I had no choice but to grow up with relatives. One of my uncles took me to school, but after primary 7, he could not afford it anymore. He was kind enough to bring me to Home Again Children's Home, where I stayed with other children. With support from Bringing Hope to the Family, I was able to go to secondary school, and I even graduated in early childhood development. After graduation, I met my very handsome husband, John. We are happily married and blessed with 3 children. I am grateful to Bringing Hope for not only taking good care of me as a child, but also guiding me throughout my journey as an adult. They became the parents I didn't have. My husband and I are now self-employed. We have our own farm and other income-generating ventures. We have built a home and are raising our family here. We can afford to take our children to school and keep them healthy.
Like Goretti, many children in Kaihura and other communities had a dark past, with the majority of them being orphaned at a very early age. However, their lost dreams were restored when they joined Home Again Children's Home. With a heart full of compassion, Miss Kunihira took a leap of faith to see the hope of orphans and vulnerable children restored. She tells us more about her journey of rescuing and restoring lives of these children through Home Again Children's Home.
I was born in a very small village called Ruhoko, almost about 8 kilometers away from where I work today or where the organization is located. My mother migrated from Ruhoko and came to Kaihura, and we started to live in Kaihura as young children. I went to my primary school at the ordinarily called Pink School in Kaihura. I later went for my secondary school, a distance of about 2 hours walk every day to school. And later I went to Jinja for further education, where I lived with my relatives in Jinja who were living in Jinja by then. And I lived in Jinja and I worked in Jinja for so many years. But in the year 2000, I felt an urge to come back home. At that time, HIV/AIDS was at the helm.
6,500 Africans dying every single day from AIDS.
In Uganda, about 1.3 million people are living with HIV and AIDS.
It was that very raw HIV/AIDS, very raw, where there was no solution, where people were not understanding what HIV/AIDS is, where there was no ARVs, and everybody was trying to work out what exactly to do with HIV/AIDS, where the rate of orphans was very high, and there were so many children that were orphaned at the same time. And in that very moment, I came home to visit. When I came home, my mom gave me a story of how many people had died in the village, how many children had been left orphaned, just a recap of what was happening in the village. And that touched my heart. And that very thing that touched my heart that day was the beginning of the story that people are watching today or are seeing today. I arrived in the community of Kaihura with my small bag, with my mattress wrapped in a piece of cloth and my bag of cloth. I disembarked on the taxi, and several of the people that saw me disembarking the taxi did not believe that I was going to do what I was going to do. But in me, I had faith that even if I did not have the money, I was exposed enough, I was sufficiently exposed to be able to share with the children, to tell them about AIDS, to comfort them. I don't know what I believed in, I don't know what I trusted, but I think when you are young, you have so much boldness that you feel you can do anything, you can move in and do anything. And that is what I did. I entered into a room, I put a table, I put an exercise book, a small notebook, and a pen, and I started to visit one family after the other. It was one evening when two children arrived at my home. One of them was 12 years and another one was 9 years old. They had been chased away by their grandparents after the death of their father. Their mother had died earlier, and therefore this rendered these children homeless. About a week later, I received two new children. One of them was 6 years and another one was 4 years, both of them boys. And little did I know that this was the beginning of what we call today home again.
And by then, the houses were in a very poor condition where we could share this small house with the house mother and the store.
With the help of a donor, I was able to build a small house. And that small house had 2 rooms in it. Me, together with my children, and another lady called Eva, we moved into this house. I started to take care of our 4 children and to nurture them and to see how life goes on. About a month later, we received a baby of 6 months. And this 6 months baby was born by a lady who was lying by the roadside, who was mad. The baby was found crawling on the highway. A well-wisher picked up the baby, took the baby to the police, and the police brought the baby to us. And this was the beginning of what today we see as Home Again, that has more than 180 children currently. Each one of our children in this home has a story. Their story is motivating, their story is moving, it is emotional, and sometimes these stories can make you cry because they are extremely, extremely emotional.
My name is Kabito Robert from Home Again Children's Home. I lost my mom when I was 3, and at the age of 5, my dad dumped me at the police station.
This is Daniel. Daniel is 1 year old. Daniel's mother was a teenager that gave birth to Daniel. She got this pregnancy and hid it away from her parents. When time came for giving birth, she went to the bush and gave birth to Daniel, buried him, and disappeared.
I'm Kembava's Anita, a lab technician at Hope Again Medical Center. The saddest moment I've ever had in my life is when we lost our father. By that time, I was 5 to 6 years old. After we lost our father, our mother, being a breadwinner, she could not manage taking care of us. It was very hard for us to have food, scholastic materials, and other basic needs. When my mother heard of bringing hope to the family, she connected us to that organization. They came, picked us, they took care of us, especially by taking us to school and giving us shelter, because I and my 3 siblings grew up from the orphanage, that is Home Again Children's Home.
One of the village members was fetching firewood, had a baby crying in the bush. On reaching there, found that a baby was there buried. He made an alarm, the community gathered and found Daniel. They called the police picked Daniel from the grave, and they had to call upon Bringing Hope, come and rescue this life. We picked Daniel, took him to hospital. We spent some good time in hospital to ensure that we saved his life.
Actually, it's the police that connected me to bring up to the family, and then I was taken to Home Again Children's Home, where I got everything that I was yearning for. My education was catered for.
These are different people, but one thing connects them. Coming under the care of Home Again brought them hope and gave them strength to become the people they are today.
From there, they took us to school. By that time I was in primary 6. They took me through primary. I completed primary 7, secondary, high school, and then I joined an institution where I did my certificate in medical lab technology. And right now I'm working with Bringing Hope. I'm married to one husband. We got married 2 years back. We have one baby boy, and we are so much in love.
And actually, a few days ago, I graduated from the university. I hold a bachelor's degree in banking and development finance, and I really see now that the sky is even not the limit. So the future is very, very bright for me, and I'm so happy. I thank God.
Now I decided to come back to work with Bringing Hope to the family. I feel like giving back because they also picked me from nothing, and now I'm someone. You see, I'm working and my life is now better. That's why I've decided to come back and give back to the community, because Bringing Hope has served me.
It is just tremendous what has happened here in Kaihura over the past several years since we first started coming here. In 2007 we came because we had a child that we adopted out of this village, and we have since made multiple trips to come back here. We have since started a non-profit organization that is supporting the village. But it's just incredible how the leadership has grown this place to be able to serve so many children in such an effective way. And the most important part is probably the house mothers who take care of these children on a day-by-day basis and provide them with a safe and clean environment. And we now look at the upper Home Again and the lower Home Again orphanages that have been renovated and redone, and there's more to be done. The baby house requires some care, but we're just incredibly proud of what they have done in this village in this period of time.
As an organization and as an individual, our uttermost desire is to see these children grow into responsible citizens, into that person that God intended them to be when they were created. And therefore we provide them with food.
We make this porridge out of corn flour, milk, and sugar. We serve the children with this nutritious porridge before they head out to school in the morning. They eat more of this porridge later at school to sustain them until lunchtime. We believe it gives them a lot of energy that enables them to concentrate in class and do well in their studies.
We provide them with basic needs when they are still young. We ensure that they are loved, that the environment is warm and they are loved, that they can play, they can enjoy their life, and they can be children just like any other ordinary normal children.
Playing is so important for the children. It has lots of benefits for them. And now it has mental benefit, physical benefit, developmental, and social benefit. This is where we play every day when the children are back from school. And now we are playing, it's another evening.
Lack of clean water has been one of the biggest challenges facing rural communities. The leadership of the organization makes sure the children have access to clean water.
The community of Kaihura has a source of water that is provided for by the government, but this source of water is not very reliable. As an organization that is taking care of more than 180 children who have to wash clothes every day, feed every day, and shower, and several things that water is required for, we feel that it's better for us to have our own source of water that is reliable and consistent. And that is the reason why today we are here with the engineers to do a geological survey to find out our opportunities on water. But besides that, when they start to grow up, we ensure that they go to school. We believe that education is the exit route for these children out of the home. That once they are educated, then they'll be able to exit peacefully and comfortably.
Education is the best inheritance you can give an orphan or any vulnerable kid. And as Bring Up to the Family, this is why we are focused on making sure that one of the biggest aspects we can do is to educate and make sure these children go to school, attain the best grades. And thereafter they can be able to help themselves and also help their families in different aspects of life. And Bringing Hope is inviting you as friends to come out there and have someone, one of these kids that you can help to attain education and be able to study hard, excel, and also get out of the poverty cycle that probably affected their families a long time ago. We are here making sure that these kids attain the goal of going to school every day.
And this is our route, this is our desire, this is our work. To ensure that the children that come into this home are educated in good schools, with good background, but also able to exit the home when they're able to sustain their own lives on their own. And over the many years, we have seen a number of our children get to school, finish university, grow up, become responsible, and exit the house. But we also make sure that our children are raised up like normal African children. They go to the garden, they get firewood, they cook, they sweep, they clean, they work, just like any other normal African child in our communities. And the reason why we do this is that they may learn how to work. They don't just sit down and watch television and play indoors and not understand what is going on in the world. Our older children go to the farm, which we have, and they go there every holiday to dig, to work, and to make sure they grow food. Because this food is again eaten by them from the farm to their kitchen, to their mouth, to their stomach.
Currently at Kisekera Demonstration Farm, a farm that we established for the purpose of providing food for the children's home, so that we can reduce on the expenditure that we incur every month to buy food from the markets. And for the last 3 years, we've seen an improvement in the nutrition and also the production of the food that we supply the home.
At this farm, we have G-nuts, we have tomatoes, we have watermelon, we have cabbage, we have millet, we have G-nuts, and with animals, we have pigs for meat. You can hear them in the background. We have poultry for meat as well, and we also have cows for milk for the children in the home.
What a tremendous experience yesterday to come back to Kaihura after 10 years and find the children celebrating just being alive, being here, having each other, and being cared for, having a big bonfire, and the singing of hymns and of just upbeat music. Just clearly a happy place to be able to come back to after such a long time. We first came to Kaihura in 2007. We have come back several times. I wasn't supposed to be here last night, and I was just so overwhelmed by what these children were doing and what their caregivers have provided for them in terms of just finding happiness and finding a safe place.
One of the best moments I love in life is having children around me, more so when we're on the campfire in the evenings, whereby children are able to share their stories. Guidance comes in to talk to them as well. When they open up, come close to me, get my love and stories and everything that we need. Also, when we have something that we can roast, like beef or corn or something else, it is always one of the best moments I love. And it is always one thing that I love children to grow knowing that there is always a good time together with us parents.
We want to uttermostly thank the people that support us on a daily basis. This home would not be able to live and exist and survive and feed these children if it wasn't for the generous support of all of you. But again, feeding children and raising children is a day-to-day job. Every day, every other day, we are receiving a new baby. It means that this is a continuous job. We want to call you to action, to support us to be able to feed these children, to educate them, to give them good health, to give them medical care, and to give them love.